Well, it's the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, Pastor Anderson. I'm going to run through a few things for everyone. I'm going to add a little something to the call tonight because I always like to add something every week to the call to just inform, educate, bring to awareness some things that could be very helpful in our daily lives as we pursue a lifestyle of happiness, of health, and of vitality. That's really the whole point of this call. Reinforce and support this idea. Let's start with, well, how does the body manage itself? And very simply, the body manages what's called energy homeostasis at all times. And let me explain what that means. There is always an energy balance in the body. And I'm going to go ahead and mute the call now because I'm hearing a lot of noise on the back line. Let me just mute it. And then if you need to unmute yourself, you'll press *6, or I'll unmute it. I'll unmute it to cue certain people. That would be the best thing so we have a quiet call. Let me go ahead and do that. All right. Perfect. So I was beginning to share how simple a body we really have, yet it's an incredible miracle that we have this body in the first place, and it's an incredible miracle what this body has as capabilities in terms of healing itself. The bottom line for our body is that the power that made this body is the body that heals this body. The body that made this body is the body that heals this body, is the power, I should say, the power that made this body is the power that heals this body. So we have incredible capabilities, and if you think for just a moment how easy it is for you to function, yet you do very little. Your heart beats without you thinking about your heart beating. Your liver is doing things, your stomach, your lungs, your heart, your spleen, your brain. There is so much that your body does without you giving it even a thought. So in fact, the power that made the body is the power that heals the body. We always say in the chiropractic profession, because that's where I got my training, is that we heal from above down, inside out. And the two premises there are that we have a brain, a spinal cord, a nerve system that leads to every cell in every tissue of our body, and that brain is always seeking energy balance. So we're always at every moment moving towards dis-ease or ease. When you take apart the word disease, it becomes dis-ease. In fact, stress is what creates most of our maladies. Most of our chronic illness is preventable. That's an absolute fact. So with that fact in mind, we know that we have the capability of making choices, and those choices are about a lifestyle that supports, as I said earlier, happiness, health, and vitality. So energy balance is what our brain seeks. Interesting thing about that is if we give our brain and our body the wrong fuel, guess what we get? We get a gummed up body, a body unable to actually function, a body that begins to shut down. That's what diabetes is. When we become insulin resistant, our cells are no longer capable of managing blood sugar. In fact, refined sugar happens to be one of the three foods besides fat and salt that shuts down our body. So what do? What are the kinds of foods that we need to use on a daily basis to function at our highest level so that our energy balance remains intact? Now, there are a few things we can do besides food. Sure, sleep, exercise, drinking lots of water, thinking powerful and positive affirmation around our life and how we are suited to live on this planet to serve other people. In addition, it's the foods. Now the foods, and I'm going to get back to sleep in a moment because I had a request this week to talk a little bit more about sleep, so I'm going to talk about that. But let me just address the food issue. 4 food groups: green foods or vegetables, the kingdom of color, our vegetables provide an immense amount of color from which we can choose to eat. Color implies frequency. Color implies health. When you think of green, you think of the heart. Green is the color of the heart, and it is also the color of our forest canopy. And our forest canopy is green because of the sun's frequencies that are drawing those nutrients up from our earth and through the trunk of those trees, the stems of those plants, to the leaves that make up, in fact, so much of the natural plant world that can give us vitality if you choose to include it in your grocery bill. And I mean in your grocery bill. Remember, we're promoting a lifestyle of health, happiness, and vitality, and that, in fact, is inspired by the frequency of the sun that brings through this incredible natural plant-based kingdom these kinds of essential enzymes, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, macronutrients. Green has a ton of chlorophyll, which alkalizes, oxygenates, regenerates the blood on a daily basis if you're giving your body that green food. And I mean, when I say green food, I'm talking about grasses. I'm talking about algae. I'm talking about vegetables, cruciferous vegetables. That's broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. I'm talking about the plant and vegetable kingdom that can have your body come alive when you choose to include it in this lifestyle that we're asking everyone to consider. And I can tell you it should be, and this is just my personal perspective, more than just a consideration. It should be an absolute choice, not a consideration. But tonight, I want you to consider some of this factual information that I'm giving you. For example, so many cancers are preventable. 35% of all breast cancer, 45% of all colorectal cancer, 65% of all endometrial cancer. There are so many cancers now. In fact, 13 have been identified by Washington University, one of the foremost research centers on weight gain and obesity in this country. 13 cancers have now been associated with weight gain, particularly excessive weight gain towards obesity. And with just 5% weight loss, 5% of your body weight, you can shift dramatically the energy balance that I talked about earlier towards ease and away from dis-ease, away from disease. Just 5% will up-level the metabolic function in all organ systems. Let me translate that. It simply means your body becomes more efficient in every organ of your body. Your heart, your lungs, your liver, your spleen, your kidneys, your intestinal system, your liver. Maybe I said that twice. Your brain. Every organ system becomes more efficient as you lose weight and you begin to make the choices that I'm suggesting tonight. Green food is core central. In fact, in this company that we've endorsed that supplies these incredible foods, these are not supplements, these are actual foods. That's why I talked about your grocery bill. They suggest 4 basic foods. And it goes way deeper than this when you want to go deeper as you are able to consider more and more of this information. But green food, fruits, protein, and fiber. Let's talk about fruit. We have a lot of toxins, okay? We have it in our air, we have it in our food, we have it in our water. We need to cancel those toxins. We cancel them with things called free radical scavengers. In other words, fruits provide bioflavonoids. Fruits provide concentrations of a substance called phytonutrients. You don't have to remember any of this. Just remember this. Fruits provide concentrations of free radical scavengers that will clean up the toxins that are either entering your body from outside your body, meaning from our air and our water, and inside your body where toxins are being produced by foods that may be more processed, that may be more toxic than healthy for your body. Food is what we want. Food-like substances we'd like to just give back to the food industry. We don't want things that are filled with processed ingredients, artificial flavors, magnesium stearates, fillers, excipients, all these things that they fill processed foods with. I want you to give them back to the stores. Or significantly choose to significantly limit them, moderate them in your diet. Nothing radical here. Nothing at all. Just shift your grocery bill to include some of the foods I'm talking about. Now, the tart cherry concentrate is called apothecary. That is 7,000 on the ORAC scale. That means that concentration of free radical scavengers to clean up toxins inside your body is remarkable. It's enormous. Third food is fiber. Now, fiber is very underappreciated. Most people don't understand fiber. Fiber supports the production of the skinny hormone in your body. It's called a fat-burning hormone that is made by your body. It's called adiponectin. You don't have to remember the name, but it's a hormone. And there will be more of that hormone in your body. This is what research tells us. If you feed your body a program, a diet. It's not even a diet, just a grocery list that is filled with more fruits, vegetables, protein, and particularly fiber. Fiber has the unique quality, especially rice bran solubles, which is in the fiber product that I'm referring to. Those rice bran solubles act like a sponge to prevent the absorption of unhealthy fats. In addition, support the production of that fat-burning hormone. And research tells us that after 100 days, with 25 grams of fiber per day in your diet, you will become a fat-burning machine. You will not only lose the weight that you want when you want it, and if you don't need to lose any, you won't, because your body knows what to do, but fiber is still important for those that don't need to lose weight. For the very reason I mentioned earlier, it acts as a sponge to clean your intestines and your colon. Remember what I said earlier, preventable colorectal disease. And the fourth food is the protein. And protein rebuilds and repairs cells. Simply stated, nothing more you need to know. Okay, I want to briefly talk about the importance of sleep, and then I want to go ahead and refer over to Dorothy, and I want her to give you a perspective on what's going on right now in the healthcare system, because she actually works in the healthcare system. Before we go over to Dorothy, here's what I want to tell all of you about sleep. It is incredibly important to get deep rest during your sleep cycle. And your sleep cycle should be somewhere between, depends on your schedule, of course, your work schedule and so forth. But in a healthy lifestyle, you want to be able to have a sleep schedule that includes the hours, let's say, of anywhere from 9 to 11 p.m. until about 7 a.m. the next morning, where you're getting deep sleep. Now, here's the reason a lot of people are not getting sleep, besides the stressful daily responsibilities that often keep our mind awake in those what should be our most restful hours. It's the fact that we're eating too late at night. And when we eat past 7 p.m. in particular, and if we're snacking in particular, which is generally processed foods that we're eating, we're forcing our body into a very unnatural rhythm. And that unnatural rhythm is one in which we are preventing our liver, the most important organ during our sleep cycle. And this is what I'm adding to the call today. This organ is so critical to hundreds of thousands of processes inside your body, filtering, cleansing, acting as a catalyst for thousands of things to happen inside your body between organ systems. Your liver is going through an entire detoxification cycle during restful sleep. But when we eat past 7 p.m. in particular, I'm going to talk about why that number is important, we are actually forcing our liver to stay awake when it should be actually hunkering down to do the work it needs to do, which is detox our bodies. So some of you may have heard the term intermittent fasting. This is not fasting where we're fasting a whole day because of a spiritual quest. This is a regulated lifestyle where you can make a choice to create hours to give your digestion rest. It's extremely important. And you will notice something very specific when you do that. You'll put your hand on your stomach and feel your stomach muscles relax. And they're relaxing because now you're not forcing digestion at a time when digestion should not be happening. So here's what it's called intermittent fasting. And it's just a lifestyle you can create that makes it easy. Just stop eating by 7 p.m. and then allow yourself to go all the way to the next day until approximately whenever you wake up, let's say it's 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever it is, and then take that protein, they're called amino acids, the product's called Super Amino 23, and the green shake. It's actually, that's what I was talking about regarding the green food. You take a green shake. It's putting no burden on your body because this protein in the form of tablets is not actually using your intestinal system. So you are not breaking your fast even at that time. When you drink your shake and you take these amino acids, you're not even breaking your fast, normally called breakfast, right, or break fast. You can then eat at noon. You should eat between noon and 7 p.m. at the latest and have your 2 meals or maybe a snack in between your 2 meals, all of that within that time period. Why is that important? Because, again, the idea is we have the body become a fat-burning machine. The only way that the body can be a more efficient system is that if you make choices that support the rhythm of that system. And the rhythm of that system and the importance of the sleep cycle, I can't overemphasize to you. It is responsible for all kinds of functionality inside. Okay? Now, if you hear my little kitty, he seems to want to go out tonight, so he's not. It's at night, and we don't let our kitties out at night, so you may hear him meowing in the background. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute the line. Now, I really wanted to emphasize that for everyone. I'm gonna take the mute. Now, Dorothy, are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
There you go. There you go, Dorothy. Well, what would I say about Dorothy is an incredible human being.
Good afternoon.
For many reasons. Dorothy works at the VA hospital. She's been there for, I believe, if I'm saying this correctly, 18 years, and she's seen a lot in her time over at the hospital. I want everyone to listen for a moment on a perspective that she will share with you. Dorothy, maybe you can share a little bit about what you've witnessed in your time over at the hospital inside of medical offices.
Yes. So I've been at my employment for over 18 years. Been working in the field of radiation oncology for over 20 years. I'm giving a little bit of too much information. I'm giving my age there. But I've seen a lot come and go. And the one thing I really would like to stress tonight is that you must be proactive. By the time the patients would get to me, they would already been diagnosed with cancer. And when a patient is diagnosed with cancer, the mindset automatically shifts between, am I going to live? That, to me, is coming from a reactive point of view. Now they're trying to do something, trying to stay alive. And most people have to count on medicine or traditional medicine to keep them alive. So I just want to point out tonight that it is so important to be proactive instead of being reactive. And just by instituting something like Purium into your diet on a daily basis, it actually reduces the amount of free radicals that your body is fighting against every day. Our body is really in a war, in an unseen war that affects our cells, which tries to cause our cells to turn bad. So in order to fight that, you have to have green foods in your diet on a daily basis. And not just a small amount of green food.
Dorothy, I'm sorry, Dorothy, there's a little bit of noise in the background. We can't hear your voice clearly. Whoever is talking in the background, if you would be able to mute yourself or keep the background noise quiet, that would be really helpful. I'm sorry to interrupt, Dorothy. Go ahead, continue.
So I just want to let everyone know on the call tonight, it is definitely our responsibility. God has given us a plan to eat according to the garden, and we have a tool, we have a mechanism that can help take us back to that, to keep us to live a longer time, to keep our body healthy, to keep our cells healthy, so that we can be able to reach those 3 scores and 10 and more. So just remember, healthcare is here, but because of the amount of patients the doctors see every day, they cannot give you the undivided attention like they would love to. So we have to be able to take that responsibility in our hands and use the tool that we've been given in order to walk in a healthy realm.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Dorothy, for sharing with that. Yeah. Dorothy shares a very important point, everyone, and that is how do our cells respond? Do they regenerate or do they degenerate? And the point in what I call, there's a concept called youthing, Y-O-U-T-H-I-N-G. Youthing means staying young. It's very real. Here's how you do it. You make healthy lifestyle choices to include foods that I mentioned earlier, fruits, greens, protein, fiber, those basic food groups in concentrated, high-density superfood nutrition. Superfoods are zero-calorie, high-density nutrition. And you outperform cellular degeneration with cellular performance. In other words, if there's more cells, that, as Dorothy put it, if there are more cells that are dividing and creating new healthy cells than there are cells degenerating, and then you have, in fact, what is called a youthing process going on. You're staying younger longer. Now, maybe
Dr. Mike, I'd like to add something,
go ahead,
if
Pastor
I can.
Anderson, maybe you could say something about youthing.
I saw I'm a 60-minute news fan. I watch it all my entire adult life every Sunday night. Last year they did an article on people who eat a healthy diet and their weight is in the proportion of chart it should be for height and weight, and they say that one habit, okay, increased their age longevity from 10 to 15 years longer than the person who's overweight or is out of that scale. There's a height-weight scale. Secondly, I need an answer because I'm about as guilty as everybody else. After 8 o'clock, want a snack. That's a bad habit that I've been doing. How do you break that habit? I know you say, well, this is what you do, but there's a way that you break that habit?
Well, there actually
maybe somebody has the same issue.
Yeah, there actually is a way.
I got good habits, but that's a bad one. Okay.
Sure. There is a way of breaking unhealthy habits. And in fact, the Purium company has created a 10-day transformation. And in that 10 days, because of the schedule and the foods that they suggest that you eat, it's not a diet, it's a program to build lean muscle mass and give your brain a different message so that your brain stops reaching for all the unhealthy foods at the wrong times. It happens all the time. It's one of the primary testimonials that's reported hundreds of times by now over the last 5 years that people have experienced when they move through this transformation. It takes 10 days, then it moves into a lifestyle, and you no longer want those things at the wrong times of the day or night.
Is Pastor Logan on this call? Because he mentioned that in Alabama. He's on this call? about how their taste buds changed in that 10 days?
Yeah,
He didn't make
I'm
the
sorry,
call. Okay.
What's the question?
Well, you know what? You got to just pray for
I'm sorry, what was that a question?
I can't hear.
Hang on to that because
Hello?
your mom better hope that one day something.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
She no longer has her job.
I can hear you.
Then what?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. What was the last statement that was made? Because I couldn't hear what that was.
Well, I said Pastor Logan, if he's on the call, he mentioned about when he did the transformation, he lost 30 pounds. I know that's not weight loss, but he wanted to lose 30 pounds. And his whole taste buds changed. So those cravings ended. That's what he said in Alabama.
That's the point. That is the point of the entire program. It's not just about weight loss. You will experience that. But you will experience less achy joints. You will experience deeper sleep cycles. You will experience more energy. You will experience a body that finally is doing what it actually by right of birth was intended to do, which is to be healthy, not to slowly degenerate over time through old age. That is not what our bodies were intended to do. So the Purium companies created a 10-day transformation that then moves into a lifestyle. You'll notice the emphasis at the beginning of the call was the promotion of a lifestyle, and that was emphasized throughout the call. And I mentioned where circumstance meets opportunity. So everyone on the call tonight, I'm sure, has been invited by someone else. There's actually a lot of people on the call tonight, more people than actually on all previous calls. And here's what I want to share with all of you. You have everything to gain and absolutely nothing to risk by considering the products from the Purium company and the food groups I mentioned. There are 4 products primarily, 3, 4, or 5 products depending upon what choice you make. Get back with the person about the gift card they're willing to give you to give this a shot for yourself. Now, I haven't mentioned much about the gift card, so in closing the call, before I take questions, let me just share this. Circumstance meets opportunity. When I'm able to give anyone on this call a gift card and say, you know what, try this. Try it for a month. Try this program for 100 days. Watch what changes for you and report back to me. You will notice the health, happiness, and vitality that was promised at the beginning of this call will manifest because your body is a miracle and your body wants to be cared for. The gift card is a system that the company designed. It's brilliant so that you could share. Let's say you had a gift card and you had a friend. You gave that gift card to your friend. That's a $50 gift card. They could purchase any package of products or any singular product, or even just a membership, the wholesale membership we call the lifestyle membership. They can purchase that with that $50, and the company will provide a $50 minimum, $50 referral fee to you on. Great. Last thing I'll say, I'll make this last comment, and that is, hey, all of us, or many of us on this call tonight, except for the people who are completely new to the call, we already understand our purpose and our mission. We understand that the lifestyle that we've chosen to adopt has made a difference in our lives, and we're sharing that difference with other people, and we're making a difference in our communities. I encourage all of you and ask for all of you to help us do that. And here's the great thing about it all. You can create another revenue stream while you do all of that because the company's willing to pay us to be messengers. So I invite all of you to consider that possibility. Get back with the person who invited you to this call. Get your $50 gift card and have them explain the various options that are available to you. Get some product, include them in your grocery bill, watch your lifestyles begin to include more happiness, more health, and certainly more vitality. And thanks, everybody, for coming to the call.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure again, as always. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night.
Dr. Mike Fleischer with New Path Nutrition. It's a pleasure to bring these simple tips to you. There's a lot more coming. If you simply click on the links in the description below this video and or on the annotations in the video, click on those links. You'll learn more about the kind of nutrition that actually helped me recover from a serious accident and will help you to actually elevate your level of health. Thanks for visiting today, everyone. See you on the next video.